Hey guys, so it is 10 o'clock on a Friday. I'm feeling very tired and I'm trying to talk kind of quiet. I have the door closed, you can see. It's just open a little bit, but Taylor is asleep in the bedroom, which is kind of at the other end of the house, but I still feel like it's echoey in here and I'm being kind of loud, but maybe not. Anyway, I have thought hundreds of times about vlogging about this certain topic, and I don't know if I will even post this. I just think that I need to talk about it in more of like an in-person kind of thing. I have a written blog and I have blogged about our fertility journey, and I don't want to go into all of that right now just because I've already written it down. So I feel like I've kind of given that story of where we've been so far. So I think if I do end up posting this, I'll post the link to my blog in the description of this video so you can read the couple posts that I've written, kind of updating where we're at. I haven't written on my blog in a little while, and I did a recent post, but before that one I hadn't done a post in a couple months. I think I've been too stressed about different stuff and stressed with work, stressed about being tired, and yeah, I need to get back to doing things that I love, like exercising and vlogging or blogging or whatever that may mean. And I have a YouTube channel, but I'm not that dedicated to it, I guess you would say. It's just if I feel like it, then I'll vlog and whatever. But I think for my coping and my self-care for this, I guess, journey that we're on, I feel like I need to do something. Obviously I talked to Taylor about it because it has to do with both of us. But it's hard, and I just have been thinking about wanting to do this, just to have a sit-down time to talk about my thoughts or whatever, just anything that is weighing on my mind. And I've mentioned in my blog too, which I'm very open about in my everyday life. I'm not really on social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. So I don't really publicize my life as much as I used to. Not anything outside of Instagram. So I'm just very in my circle, I guess, now. But I have been very open about being in counseling, and I'm such a huge advocate as a social worker that no matter who you are or where you're at in your life, we all go through stuff. So I think if you have a normal struggle like depression or anxiety or something like that, then there are people out there who can help you with it. But I've just been in counseling to try to help cope with my anxiety and stress and worry about pretty much everything in my life, because everything makes me anxious. I will wake up some mornings and be completely fine the previous day, like nothing happened in the evening that would make me feel anxious, or nothing was going to be happening like that day that would make me feel anxious. but yet I wake up feeling like there's a weight on my chest, like I can't breathe, and I'm just like constantly taking deep breaths just to try to feel normal. I can't explain it, and it's just, if you have experienced it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's just things like that, and I'm anxious about home life, I'm anxious about work life, driving. So it's just, you know, from morning until night, there are things that stress me out and make me anxious, and I'm just trying so hard to manage it. Taylor is such a huge rock for me. He supports me in any way that he can, and especially through our infertility journey. I don't know if he would be comfortable. I'm not comfortable, so I'm not going to say anything about some things that we've been thinking about as far as starting our family. That might be on down the road if we ever do decide. But tomorrow morning, Taylor is going for another sperm analysis, and he's going to the clinic where I have been seen, and he's giving another sample and getting another analysis done because he hasn't had one since November, and he's been taking his vitamins that he's been taking, but also an additional count boost vitamin. So we kind of want to see where that has put him, if it's improved, if it hasn't done anything at all. So we just want to see where he's at with that and kind of take next steps from there to, like, whatever that this sperm analysis says will be a huge factor in the next decisions that we're going to make towards starting our family. And it's really scary. I never thought that at almost 24 years old that I would be struggling to get pregnant, and it's nothing that you ever want. It just happens. I keep thinking about in high school when it was like, at least in my mind, it was ingrained that if you had sex, then you were going to get pregnant. So that was the major thing. Don't have sex, don't get pregnant. And that was that. And now it's like, it's been a year and 8 months, and it'll be 2 years in October that we've been trying. Just trying to conceive, and it's just something that you never wish on anybody, and you don't want to experience yourself. I found a lot of support through a couple of friends. My cousin's wife, they had trouble conceiving as well. They had a beautiful baby boy born this year, so they were a success. So it gives me hope, things like that. And just trying to find other people on YouTube or just on the internet in general who are doing exactly what I'm doing, either blogging or vlogging about their journey with infertility. And I want to be a part of that and make our meaning mine and Taylor's, but my voice as well heard just about all of this, because I'm such a processor. I need to talk about things. I need to get out the things that I'm rolling around in my head over and over, and just, I don't know, just vent in a way. I had so let me think back. So April, I was late on my cycle, and I didn't start until the beginning of May, so it was my last period that I had. We had went to Nashville, and I had been spotting for probably like 2 days, and then it just stopped. So I had a lot of other symptoms, like I was very, this is TMI, but normally I have trouble going to the bathroom, and I could not stop going. I thought my stomach being out of sorts, just my system in general, I had the spotting and no other symptoms to indicate that I was getting a period. And then I took quite a few, well, not quite a few, I took a few pregnancy tests. And the first one that I took, it actually showed a faint positive. And I don't know if it was maybe just the test, but that is the closest that we have ever come to seeing anything on a test. I've never been excited with taking a pregnancy test before. I showed it to Taylor, and I was like, look, there is something there. There's something there. And he saw it too. It wasn't super strong. It was just, like I said, it was really faint. But I took a test the next morning, and then skipped a day, and then took another one the next morning, and it got fainter. So I don't know if it was what is called a chemical pregnancy. I don't know. It's just really hard to say because the doctor never said anything to me about it. I did go in for a blood test to have them test my blood for pregnancy, for my hormones, and it came back negative. So the doctor wanted to start me on medication to make my period come, because at that point I was cycle day 38, and that's very long for me. I think it was, I want to say cycle day 40 that I started, and usually I'm low to mid 30s, maybe like in between 31, 34, 5 days, somewhere in that range. So it was very unusual, and I thought about, I always try to think of explanations in my mind of, trying to come up with reasons for why certain things happened, or, we all do that. We try to find explanations for things, and I thought maybe it was my switch in my thyroid medication. I was on the off-brand and then the generic, and then they switched me to the name brand because I was having adverse side effects. Nothing major, but, well, I guess kind of major with my exhaustion, but I just switched to the name brand. And I think I remember reading on the leaflet with the medicine that it can affect your cycle, but I don't know. I don't really know. But that was I took pictures of the tests and everything. I sent them to my mom, that first one, and it was harder to see it on a picture, but in person, it was very faint on the picture, and then in person it was a lot clearer. And again, it was very faint, but it was just, any little bit counts with a test, with a pregnancy test. So it was just a moment of joy, and then a moment of sadness, of course, when it was confirmed that I was not pregnant. So I had my period. I am expecting my period again anytime. I usually have a couple of days of spotting before my period fully comes, so that's typical for me. I yesterday I had some spotting. It was just enough when I went to the bathroom and wiped. Not enough came out that I would need like a panty liner or something like that. I had that yesterday, I think it was, and nothing else. I haven't had anything else, like no more spotting, so I don't know what's going on with that. I'm just tired, so tired of micro analyzing everything that my body does. So I'm just at a point where whatever happens. If we were able to get pregnant on our own, of course we would be so ecstatic. I would say the hardest thing for Taylor is that he can't give that to me. He provides so much for our family, and he wants to give this as well, and he just feels like it's he knows that it's something that I want, and he wants to give it to me, and the fact that he can't, it kills him. So it's really hard to see that pain on his face, really, he gets very, very sad. He's not outspoken generally, so when he gets upset, it's because it's really important to him, and yeah, it's really hard for him. And if you read our journey, the couple posts that I wrote on my blog, you'll read that everything is fine with me. His sperm count is low, so that's where our main issue is, and we're just trying to keep faith and hope that when it's our time to start a family, then it'll happen, no matter what way that is. It's really hard for me to be out in public, and also around people that I know, especially my clients that I work with who are pregnant, and just seeing pregnant women. Of course I'm happy for them. There's obviously that little like pain like in my head, in my heart, like of jealousy. I see a lot of girls I went to school with, now women, I guess we can call ourselves women now, but a lot of women who I went to school with are pregnant, or they are on their second or third child, and I can't help but want that and be jealous of it, and I try my hardest to pray about it, to give those feelings up to God, and to not make them harden my heart or anything like that. But it is hard. It is really hard when you want something so bad, and your family and your friends want it so bad for you too. And it's like, I think about it a lot, so it's hard to cope with that part of it as well. But I wanted to say, for the mothers, whether you were trying to conceive for years and you finally had your miracle baby, or if you had no trouble at all, just if you have children or a child, when they are frustrating you or make you feel like that you want to rip your hair out or something, stop and think about how much of a miracle they truly are. Because again, in high school, you think if you have sex, then you'll get pregnant. And it's really the journey, the process that has to happen in order for a child to be formed in the womb is just, it's like all the odds in the world are against that happening, but yet it happens. And I see a lot of moms in my job, a lot of moms who yell at their children a lot. They're under stress, so they're transferring that stress through yelling at their children and different stuff like that. And I just want to tell them how truly, truly lucky they are to have had a child and to have had a baby. There are thousands of women who are going through this exact same thing and would want nothing more than to be frustrated at their child, because it would mean that they would have a child. So just hold on to your babies a little bit harder and enjoy them even more than I'm sure you are now. I've had dreams and I've had different thoughts about what my children will look like, and if it's God's will, then that will happen for us. If not, then so be it, and we'll be parents another way. I know that there's adoption out there, just different things that we can do. So yeah, I guess I wanted to talk about my thoughts right now and just kind of give an update about where we've been recently with all of this. And since Taylor's getting his analysis done tomorrow, we will have a follow-up appointment the 19th of this month in the afternoon. It's the day before our wedding anniversary. So we're going to meet with the doctor and just talk about his results from the sperm analysis he's going to get done tomorrow, and kind of figure out like our next steps and what we want to do, because we are coming up on that 2-year mark, and that's a really long time. I know that there are couples who try for 4, 7, 10 years, so 2 years that like pales in comparison. But of course, it's no matter how long you've been trying, it feels like an eternity. And I wanted to update, and hopefully this isn't too scattered. I've been recording for about 25 minutes now, which is crazy. But for those of you who know me, I do talk a lot, so it's really no surprise. If I do end up posting this, hopefully it'll be shorter after I make little edits here and there. So I guess that's all I want to say for now, and thanks for listening. If you have watched this all the way through, I will try to post more in the future, and any prayers are appreciated, no matter what they are. I would just pray for peace and patience for us, and just God's will to be done. I've changed my prayer. I've stopped praying specifically for God to give us a baby of our own, and just have been praying for however we're meant to start our family, for that to happen, and just our will in general, because there's always a chance that we're never meant to have a family or child of our own, so you never know. But anyway, so I will try to update, and as we know, different stuff. So probably today is June 9th, so about 10 days, exactly 10 days, we will have our follow-up appointment. And yeah, so I will probably update then. All right, good night.